If you've ever visited Stingray Chevrolet here in Plant City, Florida, or more specifically, been in our service aisle, no doubt you've seen our shop truck. Today, Mr. Hurley is going to give us all the info on the truck he says he will never part with. So Steve, we're in what I refer to, I guess you could refer to this as the shop truck.
This is the shop truck.
Most people have a shop truck. Most shops, dealerships, whatever, have a shop truck, but it's typically an older truck with like a late model drivetrain and everything else, and you opted not to do that. So tell us what we're in.
Well, this is a 1953 Chevrolet 3100 half-ton pickup. This was the first classic vehicle that I ever bought for Stingray.
All right.
And so this truck will be at Stingray long after we're here.
Long gone.
This truck is Stingray. It's about Stingray. It's been in probably 10 Florida Strawberry Festival parades.
Yep.
We typically, not always, but most of the time, we take the Citizen of the Year in the parade, and we're always towards the very front of the parade with the truck. And after I bought it, I knew that it was Chevrolet blue, first off,
yep,
which I thought was just great because it really goes with the Chevrolet colors.
Yep.
And then I thought, what a neat truck to keep original. It's so original that nothing's been changed. It doesn't have turn signals. You have to use your arm out the window. It does have brake lights, but I still use my arm out the window just in case.
This deal.
And it is no power steering. It's 3-speed on the column. It's a 216 cubic inch inline 6 engine overhead valve that was developed by Chevrolet back in the 30s. It goes back, probably developed in the 20s. It goes back to the early 1930s, I believe, maybe as early as 1928.
Wow.
So the engine was, this overhead valve 6 has been used in Chevrolets from, at least I know for a fact, by 1932, if not sooner, all the way into the 70s. Same exact engine.
Same exact engine.
And it grew from a 216 to a 235 to a 250 to, I think they made a 262 or 265 cubic inch version.
Wow.
But it made it all the way into the Novas and some of the Malibus into the 1970s. Same architecture.
That's
same
insane.
engine.
Overhead valve, straight 6.
Overhead valve, straight 6. Very torquey.
It is very torquey, yeah.
Now it's geared pretty low for the torque and the longer crankshaft of the inline 6 engine. Of course, it's longer than a V8, so you get that rotating mass down low in the engine, which provides the torque.
So it's a lot of torque, probably not a ton of horsepower.
Not a lot of horsepower. This is, I'd be surprised if it's much more than 90 or 110 horsepower. However, it gets going pretty well. It does not have a top speed more than about 55 miles an hour, and that's if you're really pushing it.
Downhill.
Yeah, exactly. But you can hear the old original sound of this truck, and I've had people so many people, their dad or their grandpa or now great-grandpa had a truck that looked like this. This is the iconic 1950 Chevy truck. Again, this is a 53. The last year of this truck was 54, and they really had a 54 and a half version of it, and then the all-new 55 was a different truck.
Totally different truck.
But this is the last year of the iconic horizontal finned grille.
Yeah. Because
in 1954 it became a thicker, big, heavy grille. So this is the grille that the Chevy SSR that was built in the early 2000s.
Oh, it is. This is the kind of...
That SSR was based on the look of this iconic truck.
That is, you know what, I never thought about that, and you're 100% correct.
And so this truck is just very nostalgic. It's just Chevrolet all the way. It's got the blue bow tie right on the front. It's so cool. When we got the truck, I decided to have Paul Hetrick, who does all of our custom painting at the dealership. He did the C8 logo above the track on the showroom. Yep. He did all the lettering for the connection center, parts, service, the performance garage. Paul Hetrick did all that. And I asked him to do a 1950 style painting script. And so he painted Stingray on the side, so it looks like what would have been, if Stingray existed in the 50s, this would have been the shop truck.
Yeah.
And so that's the look I was going for, and he did it in an acrylic paint to where if we ever wanted to remove it, we could remove it. He did it in that acrylic paint to where if I ever did sell the truck, which isn't going to happen, but if it did, you could take it off without wrecking the paint.
Right. And it's the way he did that on the side, it's so perfect for this truck. Now, so you said this is a half ton.
It is a half ton.
So was there a quarter ton and a 3/4 ton back then?
They made a 3/4 ton truck. It was a little bit longer bed, heavier suspension, and they made 1 ton and heavier big trucks back then. Sure.
Was this the only length bed that you could get on a truck back then, or is this considered a long bed?
all of the longer beds that I've seen have been the 3/4 ton rated truck. You know, the bigger truck.
Okay.
And so I don't know all of the specifics from 1953,
right,
before both of our times.
Yeah, yeah.
But
it just seemed longer to me.
But this is this is the regular standard bed.
Gotcha.
The standard steps, what we call a step side bed, which, gosh, they made step side beds. I know into there we go again into the 90s. But when people see this truck around Plant City, it just makes them smile. People,
absolutely.
People wave. They enjoy seeing it. You know, could we have added air conditioning or power steering or a V8 small block engine? We could have, but I wanted it to where when you drive this truck or ride in it, you're experiencing not just the feel of an old 1953 truck, but you're living the experience of what it was like to drive in this truck. We have the side vent windows that you open to get us a lot more air.
The breeze just came through like crazy.
Yeah, and what they call the 255 air.
255 air, yeah.
And down below here, I've got a handle that opens this little vent that you can't see from there, but you might be able to see it. At the back of the hood, right below the windshield, this vent is right here.
Okay, there it goes.
As you open and close, that adds additional air coming in because these weren't offered with air conditioning at all. And for the guy out there working on the farm, working in the shop, however you were working, to be able to open these vents and open this, believe me, this was a much appreciated, cool relief when you got to drive this truck and get it moving out on the road.
100%.
And back then,
Florida.
a lot of vehicles, it was a luxury to have air conditioning, even in a sedan back in 1953. So, wasn't offered, wasn't needed, wasn't real important back then. You didn't know what you didn't have.
Yeah.
But I like just the singing of the engine, just the sound of this. It's a fantastic truck.
Well, I know every year you bring the big tumbler to the Strawberry Festival for the Corvette giveaway.
That's a great point, Norm, because every year we've had to build a bigger tumbler because we're generating more tickets than we ever have before, and that sucker gets filled, and we strap it into the bed of this truck, drive in with a sheriff's deputy escort, driving into the Florida Strawberry Festival, backing it up to our flatbed,
so cool,
lifting it onto the flatbed. It's such a ceremony, you know, and all the pageantry of this truck showing up in the anticipation every year is always a lot of fun.
It is.
And then we draw the winner of that brand new Corvette, and Unity gets to make, you know, receive a $300,000+ donation the last couple of years from Stingray Chevrolet.
It's been fantastic. Well, one of the things I noticed this past year is when you pulled in, you know, and everybody's around, you know, waiting to see who's going to win the Corvette, several people came to me and go, if I win the Corvette, can I trade it for that truck?
I knew you were going to say that because I've had that over so many years. People see this truck and feel so nostalgic. It's even got the white wall, skinny bias fly tires. So, again, do the tires follow the ruts in the road occasionally? Yes, but that's part of the charm of driving a truck like this. And if you look at it, I mean, big guys today wouldn't fit in this truck too well.
No.
You know, I'm
6'4".
I'm 6 foot, just over 200 pounds, and I'm comfortable. But I tell you what, if I put on a few LBs, I wouldn't fit behind this steering wheel because the seat's all the way back.
That's right.
That's just the way it goes.
You're gonna have a mark right here where the steering wheel was rubbing you.
Well, people that drove trucks back then, Norm, if you drove a truck like this, you didn't have it to look. There weren't drugstore cowboys back then.
No.
And if you drove a truck like this, by gosh, you did it because it was your work. You needed it to earn a living. You had a reason to drive a truck like this. And people back then were just smaller. And it's not I'm not making any type of a statement about people today. That's just a fact.
People are bigger today.
People are bigger today because look at this truck. I mean, this is small inside this cab. It's comfortable, but it's certainly.
Did you have to have the seat redone, or was it like this when you bought it?
Everything you see is the way it was pretty much when I bought it. Now we have updated one of these door panels. The seat was already like this, but this sort of grayish brown color of the metal inside is all factory. The headliner is the factory color. This truck is the way that it would have looked in 1953, and it drives the way it drove in 1953. And you know, fortunately, it lived a pretty easy life. I'm told it was out of Missouri. It was with a family for most of its life.
Nice.
And so when they did a restoration, it was a light frame-off restoration. That's why underneath it's all brand new looking and nice. But I tell you, Norm, I never get tired. Even right now, I'm enjoying this because I never get tired of driving this old truck. It's so nostalgic. And as I said, it makes me happy when I see people in town see this truck and just smile when they see it go by.
They love it.
They do like it.
Plant City loves Stingray, and they certainly love this truck. It's I will go ahead. It's so you are so broad when it comes to your love of motor vehicles, not just cars or trucks or anything else, vehicles, but bone stock 1953 Chevy pickup truck,
Yep.
To the other classics that we have right now, even to the the exotics and stuff that you like. You can hop in anything and love it.
Yep, I like cars and I like quality. That's my Achilles heel, Norm, as you know. I like things to be really, really
Perfect.
nice. I don't like junk. I want it to be nice. If I'm going to drive it, if it's going to represent Stingray, and if we're going to offer it for sale for our customers all these older classic cars, by gosh, you're going to get something nice in Stingray. And if there's something it doesn't have or something's not right, you're going to know about it, because think about when you're buying an older vehicle that's 30, 40, 50, 60 years old at Stingray, you need to know that you've got some confidence that you're just not buying it from somebody that just welded it back together just to put it together and get rid of it. We're not going to do that.
No,
we take pride, and honestly, this, Norm, but a lot of the classics we sell at Stingray, we end up trading them back in, and then they pick something else they like at Stingray.
That's right, 100%. I mean,
and somebody else gets to enjoy it.
We've had a customer trade back into his 1964 Corvette, which we did a story on.
Yes.
That he bought here for his C8 Corvette when it showed up.
That's exactly correct. We have had the 442 that just sold.
Mm-hmm.
We've had that 442 Oldsmobile in 1972. We've had that vehicle twice. We've had the 69 Camaro twice. The SS396.
Yes.
The 61 Fawn Beige NCRS Top Flight and Bloomington Gold Corvette twice. And also the 1968 427 Tri-Power automatic Corvette that we restored here at Stingray. We've had it twice.
So you especially, and John, know quality when it comes to the old cars. Steve, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about your favorite truck.
Well, thank you, Norm. I sure appreciate it. And as I said, come by and see it anytime, because this blue 53 truck will be around a lot longer than you and I are.
Not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Stingray Chevrolet, relax, enjoy the